Welcome to another Explore Everyday video. Welcome to another Explore Everyday Aurora chase. Welcome to another Explore Everyday photography vlog. All right, welcome to another Explore Everyday storm chase. Welcome to another Explore Everyday video. Welcome to another Explore Everyday hopeful Aurora chase. Welcome to another Explore Everyday video. Independence Day, the 4th of July, and we have a storm chase today. Welcome to another Explore Everyday video. Wait, what's explore every day mean anyways? Welcome to one of my very first ever, what I would call explore everyday locations. I've been coming to this nature park for a number of years now, and this grouping of trees has always fascinated me. It's kind of the perfect photo opportunity. It's got the leading line with the path. It's up offset on a hill, so you can just get the sky behind it. You can kind of shoot it from this direction and then from the other side shooting north. So this is what I call an explore everyday spot. A spot I know what it is, I know what conditions I want to get, if it's going to be foggy, if it's going to be snowing like it is right now, if there's going to be a nice sunrise, the moonrise coming up, maybe the Milky Way. I know these are here, they're 15 minutes from home, and I know I can come here and grab a quick shot before the family barely even realizes I'm gone. So I began all my videos with welcome to another Explore Everyday video. So where did Explore Everyday come from? So back in 2015, just before my daughter Emma was born, everybody said you need to have a good night story to read to your baby. And I checked out a few, and I'm very into nature and outdoors and wildlife and the stars, and none of them really resonated with me. I know, everyone's gonna say, what about Goodnight Moon? Well, great book, just not my cup of tea. I thought, hey, I can write a children's story, a goodnight story. I wrote down a story, had a mutual friend who's a fantastic artist, and together I kind of jokingly said, hey, I have this story, you can paint really well, how about we make a children's story? One thing led to another, and about a year and a half later, my children's book, Hoot-Hoot, Goodnight, was published. So as I started selling Hoot-Hoot, Goodnight and going to signings at different stores, went to a lot of daycares and preschools. Before I signed or personalized one of my books to a kid, I would write Explore Every Day. And really the premise of Hoot-Hoot, Goodnight is my daughter Emma loads up her wagon in the morning and she goes out throughout the day and loses everything that she brought with her. Her fishing pole, her binoculars, her rubber boots, everything a young kid would have. And at the end of the night, me, Dad, would have to go back and find all these to have her wagon ready the next day. So explore every day. And the idea is when we're little, when we're kids, the first place that we can explore is maybe our backyard. We spend time outside, we build forts, maybe we have a garden, we play outside, we look for worms, we watch the birds. That's your world. Explore every day. All you can explore maybe is your backyard. But then as you get older, maybe you get a bike, maybe you get a little older and you can bike around the neighborhood, go to some neighbors' houses. Now your world has grown to explore. Go a step beyond that. Now you get your driver's license. Now your world becomes maybe your city, maybe it becomes your state. Your world is getting bigger to explore. And finally, it comes to you're an adult, you can hop on a plane and you can fly anywhere. Literally, the world is yours to explore anywhere you want to go. That is what Explore Every Day is. Make your area where you live adventurous. Go explore where you live. I explore by finding these trees, and throughout this video you're going to see a number of different spots that I call Explore Everyday spots that I know for photography. I can go there and get a very specific shot, only 15 minutes from home, and I can be back before anyone barely notices. So Explore Every Day is just getting out and exploring where you live, and that can get bigger and bigger as you get older. Myself, for example, I love photography. I love making these videos, but I've got two girls very active in year-round sports. I have a full-time job. I have other responsibilities. I can't be out making epic YouTube videos all the time. So I do the best I can with where I live. I have my explore everyday spots, and occasionally I do get to travel for work, and I get to go down to Texas and chase a storm, or go to California and see the coastline. I did travel for the eclipse this year on my own. The family goes to Mexico for spring break, I bring cameras with. So I do get out and about, but my explore everyday world is 15 minutes from where I live. I'm guessing that is probably familiar with most people that are watching photography YouTube videos. We can live through other photographers that are flying off to exotic locations. Most of us can't do that, or we do it maybe once a year or once every couple years. So we have to make the best of what we have around us. And again, that is where Explore Every Day comes in. Throughout this video, we'll go to a number of different spots, and none of them look extraordinary in this video. Very flat light, cloudy, there's nothing to look at. But if you add the right circumstances to it, the right conditions, and you'll hear this repeated throughout this video, whether it's a storm or aurora or a sunset or sunrise or fog, dramatic light, whatever it might be, have these spots for Explore Every Day. I've been wanting to make this video for quite a while. I guess that's my brand, right? Explore Every Day is my brand, and I start all my videos with it, and I thought it was important to kind of just put it out there. It really started with how I signed my children's book, Hoot-Hoot, Goodnight. And I've just kind of developed it into my mantra. Teach that to my kids. Go out and explore every day, even if it's for 10 or 15 minutes. It gives you an excuse to get off the couch, away from a screen, and get outside and see nature. So now that you know what Explore Every Day is and what it means, I'm going to take you on a little tour of all my spots I have within 15 minutes of my house, and just give a quick little talk about why each spot means something to me and what I'm looking to get out of that spot. So maybe Explore Every Day will get you to think about some spots that you have and go out and exploring and find some of these spots for photography that you can have in your back pocket when just the right conditions happen. I'd also love to hear about some of your own Explore Every Day spots. What kind of spot do you have that you can go to get a certain photo? Maybe it's a sunrise, maybe it's a sunset, a favorite photography location that you have. Share that in the comments down below. And now, let's hop in the car and go check out a few of my spots. All right, it's lunchtime. Let's take a drive. I want to show you some of my Explore Everyday spots that are within 15 minutes from home, and I'll give you a little explanation of why they're an Explore Everyday spot and what I can shoot there, and show you what they look like. Let's hop in the car and go. This is our first stop on our Explore Everyday lunchtime tour. All these spots are just 15 minutes from home. And I'm looking for certain conditions for each of these spots. And when they happen, I know I can get there and get the shot I'm looking for. This is a brand new one that I just found last year, and I can thank residential development for this. This is a TMSP weather radar, part of the educational radar system that's set up around the country. And my goal for this spot is to get a storm over this radar, get big bolts of lightning, get a supercell with structure, a thunderstorm at sunset. But I know I have this view and I'm looking southwest right now. So if I do have a line of storms coming in from the northwest, I know it'll blow this way. If they're coming up from the south, I know what I can get at this spot. And there's probably an access road on the other side so I can shoot to the north or to the south and southeast as well. So this is a great spot. It connects how I chase storms with taking a picture of the radar that I'm using to chase storms. So kind of a spot on spot for me. Now let's head off to our next spot. All right, stop 2 is just 5 minutes from where the radar was, and this is another storm chasing spot that I have. They probably look pretty small in 24mm lens there. I have 2 barns out in the middle of this field, and I've been shooting to get this shot for, I think, 3 years now. This will be my 4th season. I want a big thunderstorm rolling past and shooting a time lapse of a lightning show with these barns in the foreground with an explosive sky behind them. And it just hasn't happened. I'm either out away from home chasing storms, or we're just not getting the storm with the right direction to come through here. So this is looking southeast right now. So this is one of my Explore Everyday spots. And I've also shot some fog here. One of the things that makes this spot challenging is this field rotates between corn and soybeans. So when it's corn, this field is only good up until probably June. And after that, this field's not going to be any good. The corn gets too tall. So when it's soybeans, which it will be this upcoming season, this is going to be a great spot for a year-long time to have views of these 2 barns out here. This is spot number 2. 5 more minutes. We got spot number 3. Let's go. All right, great. I'm on a dirt road. I'm in the middle of nowhere between 2 farm fields, and that's exactly how I want it. Explore Everyday spot number 3 on our lunchtime tour here is my farm fields out in nature. As you'll see a little bit later in this video, I have another rural farm stead that I shoot, but it's in one of my parks, so it's very controlled. This is out in nature. You never know what's going to happen out here. Kind of funny to think of it that way, but so while this spot seems kind of silly, it's just a dirt road in the middle of nowhere. It's 15 minutes from a home, and if I want that rural, if I want big skies, big space, this is where I come. Over this farm here, I shot Comet A3 Atlas last fall. I've shot in storms here. There's another farm behind us. I've shot the moon rising through that farm. I came out here and practiced setting up for the eclipse last spring. Big wide open spaces when I was going to go to Texas for the eclipse. So this is just my big wide open space. I've got 360 views every which directions. I've shot the aurora looking to the north. Again, just have spots where you know you can go to get that shot depending on what the conditions are. I said in another video, I live in the Twin Cities. There's nothing very exciting in the Twin Cities. But when you have these spots and they look really bland today, there's no color, it's gray, it's cold, it's windy. But given the right composition, given the right conditions, you throw a Comet over this barn and it's a pretty cool shot. This was number 3. We've got 2 more on my lunchtime tour. We're off to the next one, just 2 miles away. Let the record be known, this is the 4th time I'm filming this scene right now. First time I forgot to hit record on the GoPro. The next 2 times my GoPro died, even though it shows 40% battery. The battery died, so here we go. 4th time, just to film me driving. All right, great. Another field, the most unassuming explore everyday spot ever, unless this northern sky is lit up with the northern lights, the aurora. This is the first spot I come to check to see if the northern lights are out. If data suggests they might be out, if we're starting to see stuff on webcams, this is where I'm coming. It's about 8 minutes from home. Point the camera north and see what we have on the back of the screen. And then from here, I can pivot to where I want to go next. I have a number of spots out here to shoot the aurora. So this Explore Everyday spot, strictly for aurora. Now that's not to say I don't have good sight lines of a storm, maybe if it goes to the north. This past season, this was all soybeans, so nice and low. Next year it's going to be probably corn. So this may not be as good until that corn is harvested or until it's too tall. So another Explore Everyday spot, and this is strictly, for the most part, aurora. Let's head off to the next. The last stop on our lunchtime Explore Everyday tour is the Red Barn. This is literally 3 minutes from my house. I can walk here, drive here quick in 3 minutes. And this is a barn I've been keeping an eye on for like the last 10 years or so. And this was private property. It was an actual house and a barn. But they sold it, donated to the city. It's now a nice city park, as you saw when I drove in. There's a jungle gym, there's walking trails. And this barn has been upkept, repainted, and is just sitting here waiting to be photographed. You can obviously tell I have a rural feel to my photography for some reason. It's really making me realize that now. But like I said, I live in the Twin Cities. There's nothing great to photograph here. So you have to find things in your community to shoot that are interesting, that can add interesting foregrounds to your compositions. So any south-facing storm right here is great. I can park further down the road and shoot kind of northwest, but then you start pulling in some of the houses. I mean, there's a neighborhood right here. I did try shooting aurora here. The barn's just a little, it's not positioned well with being able to face north, but lots of different options here, sunsets. So again, 3 minutes from my house from driving, I can walk here. The Red Barn, explore every day. Off to some more spots. If I'm at this Explore Everyday spot, that means one thing. It means it is cold. -10 this morning, and this is a spot I found last year. You can see we've got a group of swans here that kind of overwinter here as long as there's open water. and this is a great spot when it's real cold. There's normally steam coming up from here when it's this cold. There's steam in all the other open water around that I'll show you in some video clips here. There's no steam here, but this can be very atmospheric when you have steam with those really cold temperatures. Like I said, it's -10. Another explore everyday spot to do some wildlife photography. You got sunrise this morning. It's actually a little better with sunset as the swans and the steam are backlit from the sun in the west. So another explore everyday spot. 10 minutes from home. I know I can get here. I know the exact conditions I need. I can get from home here, have some fun with some photography, and get back home before the family even knows I'm gone. On the tour of explore everyday spots, this is probably the spot I'm at almost every day. This is a 2,100 acre nature park where I bring Luna nearly every day. It's nice and close to home, lots of different trails, different parts of the park have a different feel. But this is kind of the more open prairie area, and I actually have 3 explore everyday spots here. If you look off over my shoulder that way, there's a maple tree that's still partially leaved. That is a real isolated tree that is good for both west facing exposures as well as east facing exposures. A little to the right of that, we have a nice an old barn, still very photogenic, and I can get that from a number of different angles also. And to kind of complete this one spot at this whole park is we have this ridge of trees up on the hillside there, and I love that those trees because they're elevated and you can really isolate them against the sky. So those are a great spot to shoot a moonrise, the belt of Venus, because it is northeast facing, and they really can be exposed by themselves. It's really a dynamic shot. So here's a little closer look at our tree. So this is obviously a west facing location. We got the sun off in the corner there. We're about maybe an hour from sunset, a little less. What I like about this tree is it has that low branch that kind of arcs up. It makes it really unique. It's a cool characteristic of that tree. And I do have one of my cooler shots I've ever taken. It happens in March. It's only 1 or 2 days out of the year, but the sunset lines up with the tree trunk, and I was able to make a starburst right through the tree trunk, and I'll put that picture up here to show you what that looked like. So this is a tree I can get to in about 15 minutes from door to door, which makes it great for explore every day. There's going to be a good sunset, maybe a storm off in the distance, dynamic clouds, a snowstorm. If I want a tree, I know where to find one. All right, so I swung around to the west side of the tree. Now we're shooting east, and you can see this is very similar to the ridge line of trees. I can isolate this tree on the hillside there, so there's nothing in the background. So again, you're really focusing on the tree and the sky. So I know if I can get a dynamic sky, again, a belt of Venus, maybe a sunrise, storm clouds, something very dramatic, I know I can isolate this tree, but not only have the tree be the main part of the composition, but also that epic sky behind it. So the second explore everyday shot that I have here is this ridge line of trees that you can see on the hill here. And what makes that really unique is, as you can see here, they're up on that hill, so there's nothing behind them. So you can isolate the trees against whatever sky you're trying to capture. And the other nice thing is I can probably walk a 1/4 mile to almost a 1/2 mile behind the camera now and use a telephoto lens. So I've used my 200 to 500 to capture the full moon coming up over or through these trees. So you have long distance sight lines here, so you can line up I've never done a sunrise here, but you can line up the belt of Venus, which is really great. That blue and pinks and purples that goes into the sky, as well as like full moon. So I believe it's November. If I need a full moon spot in a pinch, 15 minutes from my door, I can be over here, a 10-minute walk, and I'm shooting the full moon coming up over these trees. And it's gonna be different every time, so trying to improve on an existing shot or having different conditions, never hurts to have these spots to keep shooting and improving. So I have a fascination with rural America. So anything farming related, agriculture, the prairie. This is just right up my wheelhouse. One of my favorite artists is kind of local to South Dakota, Minnesota area, Terry Redlin. Lots of Americana, hunting, just classic rural America scenes. So I try to see how I can kind of take what I see in his paintings and bring it to my photography. And this is kind of a classic example here. We do have a barn here. It's part of the park. It's not the most beautiful farm setup ever, but it really works really well for just having something nice and close. It's public property. I can get all around it. I can shoot this 360, which is nice. There's vantage points from a half a mile away that I can use my telephoto. If it's like foggy or something. Over on this other side, they have an active farm field yet, so they rotate corn and soybeans. So you can add the actual, agriculture, the corn, the soybeans into the shot. And I can put a couple of those up on the screen that I've done before as well. So this is my chance to get that rural feel really close to home. And I could be out in the country in 10 minutes from my house as well, but this is a nice barn. No one's gonna look at me funny for taking a picture of it. So 3 spots right here where I can get 3 completely different images for my Explore every day, and I know where they are, what I can shoot here, and how long it's gonna take me to get here. All part of Explore every day. Well, that was a fun little walk around my Explore Every Day spot here with 3 different compositions I can get. Sun setting right behind us right now, so we're gonna get the belt of Venus coming up over the ridge line of trees here shortly. So Luna's getting cold, I'm getting cold. Picked a really cold day to do this. I think the high was -1. Once again, Explore every day. Have your spots near your house where you know what you can get. 3 spots here, a farmstead, a tree, and a ridgeline. I've taken a picture at each one here to kind of just demonstrate what you can get. And this is just a single walk without really a purpose other than making this video. I'm gonna wait for the belt of Venus here, and we'll be off to our next Explore Everyday location to talk about that. All right, we've made it to our last spot on my Explore Everyday tour, and this is the one that's closest to home. And I got the sun breaking over some clouds right now, blinding me. It took me 2 minutes and 39 seconds to get here, and I'll explain why that's important in a second. But again, this is my closest one to home, and this is big views out to the west and to the north. So this is a great time in summer for sunsets, especially when we have wildfire smoke in the air and you get the big red sun. I've got some targets off on the horizon. I've got some water towers that I can get alignments with to make it interesting to see that sun setting. And I also can do some moon sets from this location. Also in summer, this is a great spot to do some storm chasing when I'm just staying close to home. A lot of times in Minnesota, once we get into July and August, we get a lot of squall lines, a lot of shelf clouds. And they don't usually work very well with sleep schedules. A lot of times they come through between 4 and 7 a.m. or after midnight. So this is a great spot. I'm 2 minutes from home. I can get up here. I've got big views. I can see them coming from a long ways. And while 2 minutes and 39 seconds is important, I know I can sit here till the very last second and be home in 2 minutes and 39 seconds, tucked away in the garage as chaos is happening around me. So that is why this is a great spot, because it's close to home and I've got big views and some targets on the horizon. So thanks so much for coming along on my Explore Everyday tour of a few of my spots. And I have many more spots, but these are just some of my go-tos, 15 minutes from home. I'd love to hear about your spots that you have that you know you can go get a certain shot. Share that in the comments below. With that, I'm going to wrap up this video, and we'll see you in the next one. I almost forgot the most important Explore Everyday spot, the backyard. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.